Hi there, welcome to the presentation on Understanding Undocumented Learners. I'm Tiffany Glenn, and my team members are Darian Booth, Melinda Major, Sierra Rowley, and Isabel Placencia. So, who are undocumented learners? They're kids from grades kindergarten to 12th grade in the United States, brought here illegally, who are entitled to a public education. The kids were most likely brought here because their parents made that choice for them, but these kids still have the right to an education. They are allowed to attend college as well if they want to pursue that path. Those kids who come to the U.S. usually know little to no English, which makes learning more difficult than those who speak it fluently. School already has its challenges, but being undocumented brings a whole lot more that those students must face. Next is a short video featuring some undocumented students. I found their words powerful, and this video is a reminder that undocumented students are just like us, only with a ton more stress. Go ahead and take a look. Click on the red arrow to start the video. Now, what should we know about undocumented learners? First of all, life-altering decisions were made when these children were too young to have a say. Undocumented learners are entitled to an education just like anyone born here in the U.S. Public schools must accept those who are undocumented, and they are, by law, not to discriminate against or discourage students that are undocumented Americans. What strengths do undocumented students bring to the classroom? The biggest advantage undocumented students bring to the classroom is diversity. Children in classes with English language learners are exposed to different languages, cultures, and points of view. Also, U.S. children in diverse classrooms are faced with the reality that the world is much larger than their own community. Some people may think a classroom with diverse students might take away from the overall learning since resources are stretched thinner and the teacher has more concerns on their plate, but it has been shown that children in diverse classrooms can actually have increased intellectual self-confidence, which means they believe in themselves more and have more faith in their ability to face a challenge. They can also have increased cognitive capabilities, are open to more worldviews, and they are more accepting of all cultures. So diversity can actually make our students smarter. Here is a short video on the advantages of having diversity in the classroom. Please click the arrow. Video. Next, what are the challenges of having undocumented learners in the classroom? First of all, funding problems. Funding is based on the amount of students attending a school at the beginning of the school year. As students enroll throughout the year, funding cannot be adjusted. So when a school acquires several students at off times of the year, the school just has to make do with their original funding. Another challenge is that these undocumented children have usually suffered a lot of trauma and have difficulty establishing trusting relationships. They just don't trust people because they've been hurt so much in the past. And being the new kid plus. Being a new kid in school, compounded with a different language, a foreign culture, and a fractured family life, makes being new that much harder. Another challenge is finding ESL trained teachers. This shows to be a difficult task. For example, a Jackson, Wyoming district had 15 openings for ESL teachers for its high schools in 1 year. No one applied. Compounded issues. Now, about the law. As far as court cases go, the Plyer versus Doe case in 1982 is an important one. In this court case, school districts in the state of Texas have been denying students a free public education due to their lack of proof in showing legal status. This case was taken to the Supreme Court, and they decided that the state of Texas was violating the rights of these undocumented students, and that any public school cannot refuse these students an opportunity to an education. In addition to that, no school can require parents or students to disclose information of their current status. The next important legal mention is the DREAM Act from 2001. This stands for the Development, Relief, and Education for Alien Minors Act, and it was a bill that would have eventually given individuals of undocumented status a path to obtaining U.S. citizenship. Unfortunately, this bill wasn't passed, even though it has been brought up many times over the years. The most recent legal change for undocumented learners is DACA. In 2012, President Obama signed an executive order for the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, or DACA. He did this after several attempts to pass a bill through Congress with no success. DACA is a policy that was passed down to protect individuals from deportation and that also offers a work permit affecting approximately 800,000 migrants that grew up in the United States. The eligibility requirements of DACA are: the person must be under 31 years of age as of June 15, 2012. They must have come to the U.S. while under the age of 16. They must have continuously resided in the U.S. from June 15, 2007 to the present. They must have entered the U.S. without inspection before June 15, 2012, or individuals whose lawful immigration status expired as of June 15, 2012. They must have been physically present in the United States on June 15, 2012, and at the time of making the request. They must currently be in school, have graduated from high school, have obtained a GED, or have been honorably discharged from the Coast Guard or Armed Forces. They also must not have been convicted of a felony offense, a significant misdemeanor, more than 3 misdemeanors, and also they must not pose a threat to national security or public safety. Now, as for what has been going on very recently, DACA has been in jeopardy. The current presidential administration feels DACA was an illegal act and should be rescinded. The deportation and separation of families has been occurring as well. Those who are a part of DACA are spreading awareness to show that they matter just as much as everyone else does. They are human beings and they need help. They are people who consider the United States their home. Some of them don't even remember the country they were born in. Some don't speak the language. Imagine being sent somewhere foreign and told never to come home because of a decision your parents made when you were small. Now for some effective strategies in the classroom. There are a few effective strategies for teachers to use in the classroom with undocumented learners. The first strategy is to use a strong mentoring system. This will provide those students with a few adult mentors who can help create a pathway for them. The second strategy teachers should integrate into their classroom is to create a safe and fully inclusive environment. We can do this by using appropriate language. Using words like illegals and aliens does not really create an inclusive environment. Like we heard in the video, they prefer to be called undocumented. This small shift in language helps to create a feeling of welcome and to allow trust in the classroom. The third strategy would be to support diversity and make an effort to show interest in the cultural backgrounds of your students. This will make them more comfortable coming to you with questions and help you get to know the students. The fourth effective strategy is to help students and their families understand their rights and access to resources. This is also something that other teachers and staff members should strive to know. It is also important for school counselors and academic advisors to be aware of, especially when students are applying for college. Here is a short video to list a few of these rights. Please click on the arrow to start the video. Now for some information on undocumented teachers. First of all, undocumented teachers depend on DACA. Since 2012, when it was introduced, DACA has enabled about 660,000 young people, known as Dreamers, to be sheltered in 2-year increments from deportation. With DACA's protection, they have stepped out of the shadows, getting work permits and Social Security numbers, going to college and living their dreams. Undocumented teachers are sometimes referred to as DACA-mented teachers, meaning they were those undocumented children that are now teachers as a profession. These documented teachers bring racial and ethnic diversity to the classroom. Teachers of color serve as role models for all students. They help students of color improve their achievements and experiences at school. They contribute to a more effective U.S. workforce. Documented teachers help reduce teacher shortage. They are sought after, particularly in bilingual education. These teachers are motivated and enter the classroom ready to give back to the community. Since Trump is trying to terminate DACA and threatening deportation, which would affect the documented teachers, we could be facing a huge teacher shortage. With their attack on DACA, the Trump administration threatens the academic and economic well-being of countless students, families, and communities. You see a significant number of DACA recipients, more than 20% of recipients, are employed in education. That's a lot of teachers. Well, I hope you've learned some insightful things about undocumented learners. Thanks for watching.